It seems like a very confusing visual image. Where are we right now?
We're now standing below the Western Wall Plaza, a huge project revealing ancient Jerusalem.
The Temple Mount, Jerusalem's most sacred and mysterious site, has always captivated historians, pilgrims, and explorers. But now, the intrigue has collided with a groundbreaking archaeological revelation.
This pile is just a small part of the debris recovered from the Temple Mount. Over the years, the Temple Mount Sifting Project has uncovered a treasure trove of artifacts, like this piece of pottery, throughout Jerusalem's history.
Beneath centuries of stone, ash, and legend, scientists have uncovered a sealed chamber untouched for over 2,000 years. From ancient inscriptions and priestly artifacts to evidence of sacred engineering, this discovery is shaking the foundations of history, faith, and science. So what exactly was found? How authentic is it? And what does this mean for our understanding of one of the world's most revered holy site, the Lost Sanctuary? Beneath the heart of Jerusalem, under the sacred stones of the Temple Mount, lies a secret that had been hidden for more than 2 millennia, a secret so extraordinary that even the most experienced archaeologists could hardly believe their eyes. Deep within a chamber, long sealed and untouched since the time of the Roman Empire, researchers uncovered a remarkable sight. A stone basin carefully etched with Paleo-Hebrew inscriptions, fragments of ancient incense, small clay lamps, and traces of priestly rituals performed thousands of years ago. Each artifact seemed to whisper stories of a past civilization, its devotion, and its meticulous worship practices. For centuries, scholars have debated whether the innermost chamber of Solomon's temple, the legendary Holy of Holies, ever truly existed, dismissing it as little more than a story woven into ancient texts. Yet now that elusive sanctuary may have been discovered at last. This was the room so sacred that only the high priest could enter, and even then, only once each year on the solemn Day of Atonement. The mere thought sent a shiver through the team. Could they really be standing in a place where the divine was said to dwell, untouched for thousands of years, preserved in perfect secrecy, as if time itself had bowed before its holiness? What makes this discovery even more astonishing is that it is not just scattered debris or ordinary relics. Every object, every fragment, aligns directly with biblical descriptions of the temple and its sacred ceremonies. The chamber had been deliberately sealed by ancient hands, its contents carefully protected under layers of ash and stone, as if the people who built it intended to preserve it for the distant future. Inside, the evidence is clear. Meticulous worship practices, intricate engineering, and a precise organization of space designed for religious devotion. This was not a random storage room. It was a carefully crafted sanctuary, a space of both spiritual and practical purpose. For the first time, faith and history converge in a way that is impossible to ignore. This is not just archaeology, it is a tangible, physical connection to a story that has shaped civilizations for thousands of years. To hold in your hands the remnants of rituals performed nearly 3,000 years ago, to read inscriptions that have survived wars, conquests, and centuries of neglect, is to witness the past reaching out and touching the present. The chamber beneath the Temple Mount is more than a historical find. It is a window into the sacred heart of a lost world, a revelation that challenges legend, confirms scripture, and leaves the imagination reeling at what humanity once achieved in devotion, faith, and ingenuity. Researchers have uncovered a stone basin etched with Paleo-Hebrew inscriptions, alongside fragments of incense, clay lamps, and remnants of priestly rituals at the Temple Mount. But why is this discovery so groundbreaking? What could it truly mean? And could it carry a message meant for this generation? Let's uncover the details. Secrets of the First Temple. For centuries, the most sacred areas beneath Jerusalem's Temple Mount remained out of reach, a mystery locked away beneath layers of stone, ash, and time. Until now, no tangible evidence had ever surfaced to confirm what ancient texts had long described. But recent discoveries have changed that entirely. Archaeologists have uncovered an astonishing collection of artifacts: clay bullae used to seal official documents, inscriptions carved in ancient Paleo-Hebrew, intricate water channels, and ceremonial tools, all pointing to a civilization of remarkable precision, faith, and sophistication. These finds prove something extraordinary. The First Temple period was not merely legend or myth. It was a living, breathing reality, with people who planned, engineered, and worshipped in ways that modern science can now begin to understand. The water systems alone are a marvel: channels, reservoirs, and conduits carefully designed to maintain ritual purity. Rainwater and runoff were guided with exact calculations, preventing stagnation while ensuring priests and worshippers had clean, flowing water for purification ceremonies. Every curve, every channel speaks to intelligence, planning, and devotion. This was not primitive infrastructure, but sacred engineering crafted to serve divine purpose. Even the inscriptions themselves seem to whisper secrets of the past. Names carefully carved into clay match priestly families cited in ancient biblical texts, proving that these individuals once walked these very corridors, performing sacred rituals and fulfilling their duties with meticulous care nearly 3 millennia ago. These artifacts are far from anonymous relics. They are living connections to the men and women who shaped the spiritual heartbeat of early Jerusalem, offering a tangible bridge between history and the lives of those who shaped its earliest religious world. Together, these discoveries reveal a civilization that encoded its understanding of holiness and divinity into every stone, every channel, and every architectural choice. Buildings were more than structures. They were machines of sacred purpose, carefully designed to channel human activity toward spiritual order. The alignment of stairways, water systems, and ceremonial spaces reflects a mind attuned not only to practicality, but to the rhythms of devotion and ritual, linking human action to divine intention. This is not just archaeology. This is a revelation with the power to reshape our understanding of Jerusalem and its past. It transforms centuries-old speculation into verifiable reality, bridging the gap between myth, scripture, and tangible evidence. For the first time, the sacred traditions of the First Temple can be traced in the stones beneath the city, revealing a world of faith, science, and human ingenuity intertwined. Every artifact, every inscription, and every channel is a window into the lives of a civilization that understood with extraordinary clarity the connection between the physical and the divine, leaving behind a legacy that has endured millennia and is only now beginning to speak. The discovery at the Temple Mount points to a highly organized and deeply sacred civilization, with inscriptions that link directly to priestly families mentioned in Scripture. But what does this temple truly represent? Which religion can justifiably lay claim to it, or could it belong to all faiths? Now, let's explore Jerusalem's sacred hill, the Temple Mount. The Temple Mount, perched at the heart of Jerusalem, is far more than a hill or a plateau of stone. It is a place where history, faith, and human civilization converge in almost unimaginable ways. For thousands of years, it has stood as a sacred stage for events that shaped not just one religion, but 3 of the world's great faiths. Its story is layered, complex, and charged with spiritual meaning that has echoed across centuries. For the Jewish people, the Temple Mount is the holiest site in all of Judaism. Here stood the first and second holy temples, monumental structures described in Scripture and revered as the dwelling places of the divine. The first temple, built by King Solomon nearly 3,000 years ago, and its successor, the Second Temple, served as the spiritual center of Jewish life for centuries. They were more than buildings. They were the focal point of worship, law, and community, the heart of Jewish liturgy and identity. Even after their destruction, the Temple Mount remained a symbol of divine presence, a site of longing, prayer, and reverence. It is here that generations of Jews have turned in devotion, connecting past to present through rituals, prayer, and memory. For Muslims, the Temple Mount holds equal sacred significance. Known as Haram al-Sharif, it is home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the iconic Dome of the Rock. According to Islamic tradition, it was from the stone at the Dome of the Rock that the Prophet Muhammad embarked on his miraculous night journey from Mecca, ascending to heaven to meet biblical prophets in a prophetic vision. In the earliest days of Islam, this plateau was the first direction of prayer for Muhammad and his followers before Mecca became the ultimate focus of Islamic worship. Today, Al-Aqsa stands as the third holiest site in Islam, a place of profound devotion, reflection, and spiritual connection for millions around the world. Christianity holds this plateau in deep reverence, not because of grand temples that once stood or crumbled, but for its close connection to the stories told in the Gospels. Here, Jesus is believed to have walked among the people, sharing his teachings and famously overturning the tables of the money changers. This powerful act reminded all that God's house was meant to be a sacred place of prayer and reflection, not a hub for business or profit. Across millennia, this single hill has borne witness to prayer, prophecy, conquest, and awe. Each stone, each pathway, carries layers of human history, faith, and aspiration. It is not merely a location on a map, it is a living symbol of devotion, a focal point where the sacred and the human intersect. Understanding the Temple Mount is not just a matter of history. It is a journey into the spiritual heart of civilizations. It is where the stories of three major religions intertwine, leaving traces that still resonate today. But why was it not fully under the control of any one faith historically tied to it? And what led to the present-day discovery of the site? Now, let's uncover how chaos unearthed 3,000 years of Temple Mount's secret. Forbidden ground, hidden treasures. Excavating the Temple Mount is unlike any other archaeological challenge in the world. Here, a simple shovel cannot peel back the layers of history at will. The site is a delicate mosaic of faith, politics, and centuries of conquest, where every stone tells a story, and every action is weighed heavily. In Jewish law, stepping into certain areas without the right preparation is seen as a serious transgression. For Muslims, the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque crowning the mount hold unmatched sanctity. One careless step, one unauthorized excavation could ignite tension, provoke unrest, or even trigger violence, sending shockwaves far beyond Jerusalem, where history and devotion collide in extraordinary intensity. For countless decades, the Temple Mount held its secrets tightly, like a vault no one could open. Archaeologists, no matter their skill or determination, were forced to stay at the edges, straining over walls, studying ancient texts, and imagining what lay beneath. They pieced together clues from old maps, historical stories, and cautious guesses. But nothing could replace the thrill of actual discovery. The world's most sacred and historically rich site remained almost entirely out of reach, its priceless treasures buried under layers of stone, earth, and the footsteps of countless generations. Then, in 1999, something entirely unexpected happened. Unauthorized construction began on the mount, not with permits, careful planning, or archaeological oversight, but in defiance of both. As workers dug to create a new underground mosque in the area known as Solomon's Stables, they removed hundreds of truckloads of earth. To most, it was simply debris, soil to be discarded. But for the sharp-eyed archaeologists who followed, each discarded pile was a treasure trove of history, containing fragments of pottery, coins, tools, inscriptions, and countless remnants of civilizations that had occupied the mount for 3 millennia. Out of that chaotic and destructive digging came an extraordinary opportunity. What might have been lost forever instead became the foundation for the Temple Mount Sifting Project, an unprecedented effort to recover and preserve these priceless artifacts. Volunteers from around the world began the painstaking process of sorting through the soil, bucket by bucket, fragment by fragment, reconstructing the history of a site that had been off-limits for generations. What had started as a seemingly disastrous act of construction would ultimately unlock a hidden world, revealing ritual objects, inscriptions, and signs of the ancient temple that had been preserved beneath the stones for thousands of years. This was not just archaeology. It was a story of discovery born from chaos, a bridge between lost civilizations and the present, and a reminder that sometimes history itself finds a way to resurface even under the most forbidden of places. Unauthorized entry into the Temple Mount is religiously prohibited. However, construction work unexpectedly unraveled shocking hidden truths. But what exactly was discovered during this construction? And what steps did scientists take to verify the authenticity of the findings? Now, let's uncover how sifting and technology revealed the Temple Mount's buried secrets. Uncovering the hidden layers. When the truckloads of soil from the Temple Mount were first dumped outside the old city, it looked like nothing more than rubble, dirt to be discarded. But for a determined team of volunteers and scientists, every bucket held a piece of history waiting to be uncovered. Day after day, fragment by fragment, they sifted through the soil with meticulous care. Coins from ancient dynasties, shards of pottery, arrowheads, and delicate ritual objects began to emerge. These were not random artifacts. They were a cross-section of thousands of years of human life, representing dozens of civilizations that had walked the sacred hill. As more fragments came to light, a startling order began to emerge from the chaos. Certain objects, priestly implements, ceremonial vessels, and ritual artifacts, were clustered in distinct, deliberate pockets. These groupings were far from random. They aligned eerily with sites marked in ancient biblical texts as sacred and untouchable. What once seemed like scattered debris slowly transformed into a guide, revealing an invisible blueprint of the Mount's most revered areas. Each discovery acted like a breadcrumb, leading scholars deeper into long-forgotten chambers, sealed for thousands of years, untouched since the age of the first temple, whispering secrets of a distant past. The team refused to stop at surface clues. Determined to uncover the secrets hidden beneath without crossing delicate religious and political boundaries, they relied on cutting-edge technology. Using ground-penetrating radar alongside century-old maps made by British surveyors, they uncovered astonishing underground marvels. Winding corridors, spiral staircases, and hidden chambers meticulously carved into solid bedrock. These were no accidents of nature. Every tunnel and void was intentionally crafted, designed to guide movement, channel water, and serve sacred rituals, revealing a hidden world beneath the Temple Mount that had remained invisible for centuries. Armed with this knowledge, archaeologists gained permission to conduct legal excavations in the Western Wall tunnels, just outside the Mount's boundaries. What they discovered deepened the mystery and the wonder. Ancient staircases descended into darkness. Byzantine chapels with faded crosses and inscriptions testified to centuries of layered worship, and massive foundation stones were uncovered, perfectly cut and stacked with precision far older than King Herod's renovations. The layout, size, and placement of these stones aligned with biblical descriptions of sacred zones from the First Temple, confirming the historical significance of the Mount's architecture. Every artifact, every corridor, every stone told a story of faith, engineering, and devotion. The Temple Mount was no longer just a site of legend. It was a living puzzle of history, revealing the hidden lives, rituals, and sacred spaces of people who had dedicated themselves to preserving divine connection. The painstaking sifting, combined with modern technology and careful excavation, turned chaos into clarity, allowing researchers to map a world buried beneath the stones for thousands of years. An ancient civilization's blueprint for worship finally coming into focus. Scientists uncovered ancient staircases, Byzantine chapels, and massive pre-Herodian foundation stones matching descriptions of sacred zones from the First Temple. But is this all, or are there even more mysteries beyond human comprehension? Let's find out. The hidden heart of Solomon's Temple. At the end of a narrow, forgotten passage, long hidden beneath the sacred stones of Jerusalem, researchers stumbled upon something that had not felt human breath for over 2,000 years. A sealed stone chamber, perfectly preserved and no more than 10 feet across. The room was small, yet every inch seemed charged with ancient purpose, as if time itself had been held at bay to protect its secrets. In the center lay a stone basin, half buried in ash, surrounded by fragments of incense, tiny clay lamps, and carefully arranged ritual items. The air, or what could be imagined as its memory, seemed heavy with the weight of centuries of devotion. But it was the inscriptions that stopped the team in their tracks. Etched in ancient Paleo-Hebrew, the words read, "He who dwells here, his spirit never leaves." The message was more than poetic. It was a testimony of sanctity, a physical echo of the divine presence described in Scripture. Scholars immediately recognized the significance. This chamber corresponded precisely with biblical accounts of the Holy of Holies, the innermost sanctum of Solomon's Temple, a space that had long been thought inaccessible, if not legendary. The proof was now tangible, carved in stone and preserved in ash, a link between faith, history, and reality that had eluded humanity for millennia. The discovery sent ripples through archaeology, scholarship, and religious communities alike. Texts once considered symbolic are being revisited with new eyes, and centuries-old rituals are being re-examined in light of physical evidence. Every detail of the chamber, the basin, the arrangement of objects, the inscriptions, provides insight into how an ancient civilization understood the divine, organized sacred space, and deliberately preserved it for generations to come. This was a culture that encoded spirituality into architecture, water systems, and ceremonial objects, leaving a legacy that speaks across millennia. Looking forward, researchers are preparing to use cutting-edge imaging tools like muon scanning to peer deep beneath the Temple Mount and uncover hidden chambers, all without disturbing the ancient surface above. The secrets that may lie beyond these walls remain a complete mystery. Yet even the discovery of this first chamber has offered a breathtaking glimpse into a civilization of remarkable skill and devotion. They blended engineering brilliance with spiritual ritual, creating spaces that honored both structure and belief. Each new finding hints at knowledge and traditions so precise and profound that modern science is only now beginning to grasp their full significance. For the first time in countless generations, humanity has peered into a space once considered forever unreachable, a hidden chamber at the very core of the First Temple, where faith, craftsmanship, and sacred purpose intertwined seamlessly. This discovery is far more than an ancient relic. It is a vivid echo from the past, a whisper of stories long thought mythical, yet startlingly real. The Temple Mount continues to hold mysteries that could transform how we see history, belief, and the human longing for connection with the divine. It reminds us that even lost worlds can still speak. So, what do you make of the discoveries beneath the Temple Mount? Could there be more divine messages hidden at this sacred site? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.